Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am Mr. Kadim Khan and I am a lecturer in the Institute of Computing, Quad University of Science and Technology. Today we will take lecture number 24 of the subject of object-oriented analysis and design, in which we are going to discuss the visual paradigm, which is the unified modeling language tools. Dear students, in the earlier classes, as we have discussed different concepts of objects and classes in Java, and we have discussed the graphical user interface development in Java. Now we will develop these objects and classes in a practical unified modeling language tools as well. So for this purpose, we are using here now visual paradigm. Visual paradigm is a tool used to create the unified modeling language diagrams. This is quite easy tool and also it is a free tool. So that's why here for the beginners as well as for the advanced as well as programming, the visual paradigm is used to create the unified modeling language tools. So stay with us. This is the discussion agenda. It contains the topics of the background of UML tools. Here we will provide you the history about the UML and then the installation of visual paradigms, where you can learn that how you will install the visual paradigm, also the link which will be used to download the visual paradigm. Then importantly, the feature of visual paradigm. These are the unique features of the visual paradigms which make it very much attractive for the unified modeling language diagrams creation. And at the end, of course, we have the book references as well as another web references. This is the background of the object-oriented systems, and at the end we can see that the UML is in fact created in the after 1990s. So in the 1970s, the users have no concepts there. So the user actually deposit or withdraw amounts. Also they can transfer the amounts. But that was in fact overall the manual systems. So they provide the amount in cash and they get amount in cash as well. And also they can transfer the amounts to another accounts. But the accounts are, you can see that they were not active accounts, they were just passive accounts or the theoretical accounts in the form of some paper and pen accounts. So these were just the theoretical or the manual methodologies to perform the transaction in the banks. So in the 1970s, we have no such a concept that the electronic transaction should be performed there. Now in 1980s, the users can take or deposit the money, also the user can withdraw the money, but there were account as well. So the account system was properly maintained at that times, and some small softwares they were able the users to perform such certain transactions. But later on in the 1990s, many operations are in fact implemented by the deposit and withdrawal systems such as the banking, which includes that the bank's accounts becomes very much secure. Also you can draw or deposit the money. Also you can perform certain calculations, and you can also make different transactions with the help of the computerized systems. You can see that there is no direct user involved here. For example, you can use your mobile softwares to perform certain transactions. And in fact, all these operations are because of the object-oriented system, which is in fact designed and analyzed in the unified modeling languages. So unified modeling languages enable us to create different sort of the computerized softwares which performed the variety of functionalities and operations for the end users. So, due to the object-oriented systems and technologies, we can create certain softwares where different user as well as the devices are actively perform their operations through their systems. Now there are many certain tools already we are using. For example, rational rows, which is very much classical tools, and this tools is in fact used for unified modeling language as well. Similarly, enterprise architect is also another tools which is also used for unified modeling language. Microsoft Visio, which comes with the Microsoft suite, also create the UML. But Visio is in fact not much intelligent as likes visual paradigms and any others. Similarly, Lucid Chart is another tool which is also very much important and mostly used. Similarly, Agilian is another tool, and visual paradigm of course is with us, which can create the advanced types of unified modeling language architects, that is UML 2.5, and also the visual paradigm merge Agilian and Logesian, and that these three, in fact, the classical visual paradigms and the Logesian and Agilians, they combinedly are merged into visual paradigms, that is version 14.1. So visual paradigms is more richer than these tools. Also, we will create our unified UML diagrams in the Eclipse, where we will use the compares for UML modeling. But here we are introducing the visual paradigms version 14.1, which is very much in fact expressive as well as also it's very much intelligent. Intelligent in the sense we means that there are a lot of functionalities which are in fact very much useful for the students as well as the project developers and managers. Here are some important information about the installation and downloading of the visual paradigms. To download the visual paradigm, first you need to go to this links, that is https www.visual-paradigms.com/download/, or you can directly go to the visual paradigm page and then click on the download sections to download the visual paradigms. And if you want to buy the license, then you need this link to buy the license, because initial copy, when you will download the visual paradigms from this links, it has 30 days evaluation period. So after 30 days you will not be able to perform any sort of the designing in visual paradigm. So then you will require to subscribe to the license. So for this purpose you need in accounts, and then you will pay to the visual paradigms company, and then you will be able to perform your functionalities with visual paradigms. Also we have the perpetual license, the license with no expiration date, so you can activate this sort of the license as well. Also we have the academic license. So academic license are in fact obtained by the organizations to use the visual paradigms. Now, if you want to study the samples of the visual paradigm for UML, then you can click on this link and you will get different sorts of the samples of the unified modeling language that are developed in the visual paradigm. Now, why are we using the visual paradigm? There are certain reasons that visual paradigm is very much useful and attractive. The first one is visual modeling. By visual modeling, we mean that visual paradigm provides the powerful visual modeling tools which helps us to develop or build and manage our diagrams and models by drag and drop from the toolbox to the surface. And also you can see that it is in fact quite easy to create the visual model of your project. Here you can see that different components can be quite easily linked with each other. For example, here you can see user is linked with a new use case here, and then just right clicks and types the functionality of this new case, and you can also connect this use case with another use case through using certain relations. Similarly, when you create the class diagrams, you can just type the attributes and functions of the classes here. Similarly, you can create the sequence diagrams, and you can also connect one timelines to another timelines. So just by dragging dropping different components from the toolbox onto your surface area, you can create different diagrams. So it supports UML, that is Unified Modeling Language. Similarly, BPMN, this is Business Process Model and Notations. Similarly, ArcMat and data flow diagrams. Similarly, entity relationship diagram, service-oriented architecture modeling language, SysML, that is System Modeling Language, and CMMN, that is Case Management Model and Notations tools. These are different sorts of the UML diagrams which are used and developed by the visual paradigm. And effective modeling tools such as the element reusability diagrams and element transformation, syntax validation, and customer properties are also supported by the visual modeling here. So that means that these tools provides different sort of the component reusability. You can create your diagram once, then you can reuse that diagram in any other project. And similar diagram and element transformations, that one diagrams can be transferred into another types of diagrams. Syntax validations, for example, if you have certain validations of this use case diagram or the class diagram, then you can also validate it through the UML custom properties. That means different sort of the properties which are relevant to the customers. Many other formatting options as well. For example, if you want to change the background color or the text colors here, that can also be performed using the visual paradigm. Another important features which make the visual paradigm very much attractive is because of the enterprise architecture. So there are many industrial standards, for example, TOGAF, ADM, life cycles tools, similar Department of Defense, AF and NAF and MODF tools. These are different sorts of the industrial standards which uses the visual paradigms for the object-oriented analysis and designs. And these are world most best enterprises which uses the visual paradigms. So visual paradigms enables you to process navigation tools that walks through the EDM phases. And EDMs is the architecture development methods which has 10 phases to identify the approaches and complete description of each phase as that provided through this TOGAF. And TOGAF documentation is available, and it's opens group websites which identify the objectives, input steps, and output of each phases here. So you can see that the input of one phase is in fact when processing is performed, then it becomes also the input to another, and the output of one phase is becoming the input to another. So here actionable steps perform the EDM activities within our EDM process tools is to guide and clear examples and to follow these examples. Wide range of EDM tools including Archimate, capabilities analysis and tools. Similarly, we have the architecture development methods, deliverable tools, which are in the form, and auto-generated talk of delivery as well. Another important features of the visual paradigm is the business analysis and design. The business analysis and designs is actually performed to analyze the business, which means the cost effectiveness analysis here. So here we want to identify the cost of the each business phase and to compute the cost benefit factors. And it is the end-to-end tools that helps to improve the business efficiency and productivity. For example, if you want to define certain business process, then we will use the visual paradigms to define the business process. And that business process is quite customizable to the particular organization. So the business also design includes strategic planning. Strategic planning is in fact the process management which helps to discover and define business strategic goals that includes the cost benefit analysis and process designs. Actually, when we want to perform certain process, we need to design that process, and it provides the visualized business workflow with the business project. In fact, the notations used for designing the business process. BPMN is the business process modeling notation, and it's exactly like the flowcharts methods which models the steps of planning business process from end to end. So to define the business process, we use the visual paradigm. Similarly, to analyze the business process, we also use the visual paradigms. So it includes the study bars, that business animation tools here. So it determines the best setup of resources and process simulations tool as well. So using certain simulations tools, we can analyze the business process. Similarly, process re-engineering means that process redevelopment. So re-engineering process management tools which helps us to redefines and planning and redesigning the process and then identify the gaps and monitor improvements in the process here. So you can see that there are multiple processes and the processes are connected with their required resources. So then the business process is defined through the visual paradigm. Mostly business process is used in the software engineering. Another important features of the visual paradigm is project management. And the project management is in fact used by the project manager to completely supervise the project. It achieves better results by managing the software project with full-fledged project management tools. You can see that there is the project management process, and that is developed by the software project manager. Because inexperienced software project managers cannot directly supervise the process. So it is better to create the business process or the project management process in the visual paradigm before starting the project. So a map of project management life cycles which hotspots to all planning, executions, controls, and then all activities which are performed with our one build management tools and generate reports in 1 seconds, that is in a few seconds. So this business process in fact make sure in fact enable the project managers to perform the business activities. That is the 2D configuration process which organize the management activities in a quite clear way. Here, business management book of knowledge and other various types of the management process templates are available in the visual paradigm. And also it has the right set of the management tools including the PERT tools. PERT is exactly like charting tools, roadmap, implementations, planning, spider charts, which is a web charts, and work breakdown structures, and similarly the fishbone diagrams used for the reasoning purpose. So fishbone diagrams, similarly work breakdown structures, all and spider shoots, PERT tools, these are mostly used in scheduling purpose. So because the project manager responsibility is to perform the project scheduling, so that's why using these sorts of the tools, the project manager can perform exactly and accurate project management scheduling. Similarly, the important features of the visual paradigm is the agile and scrum development. In the agile and scrum development, the computer programs or softwares are effectively and efficiently developed. So here, the Scrum is a framework which is utilizing in agile mindsets for developing, delivering, and sustaining complex products within initial emphasis on the software's development. Although it has been used in many fields, including research, sales and marketing, and advanced technologies, so most of its use is in the software development. The fundamental unit of the scrums is a small team of the people, as scrum teams. The scrum team consists of one scrum master and a product owner. So here the scrums stakeholders are used to develop the high quality products using the agile software development methodologies. Now, how the Agile and Scrum development is working? First, we need to define the user story mapping. So, we require to drag drop the story creation and arrangement. Then, story estimation tools, for example, affinity tables is required to create the story estimation tools, and sprint backlog management is required to create the user stories. After creating the user stories, then we require Scrum process canvas creation. In this process, the Scrum process canvas, which helps our teams to manage entire Scrum project in the one page, which includes the Scrum roles. Roles means the people involved in the Scrum development. The events means that the certain tasks, and the artifacts means that different components which are required to be developed. So performing the activities in a right within the maps which generates the Scrum reports in a seconds is in fact possible only by the visual paradigm. Another important features of the visual paradigm is the online diagrams. So you can use visual paradigms online as well. So you can save all your work in the visual paradigms. So you are not forced to download the visual paradigms. Only visual paradigms is downloaded when you want to work offline. So you can also work online with the visual paradigm, because you can just use drag and drop, and there are 100 plus program diagrams types which cover all kinds of the business and technical and general requirements of the software developments. And also there are 1,000 plus diagram templates which will help you quickly to develop the software projects. And also we have the web-based and the browser-based version of the visual paradigms, which is online, and best visual alternative both in terms of the feature and pricing is to use the visual paradigms online, and that is embedded into the Microsoft documents and presentation for display and quick editing. So you can just use the visual paradigms online as well. Another important feature of the visual paradigm is to experience the design. So experience the design means that all the stakeholders have the clear view of the design. So stakeholder needs with our powerful user experience tools, which includes the wireframes. The wireframes is in fact the complete GUI which will be created when the project is completed. So it completes wireframes to visualize screen flows and screen layouts, that when the user will interact with these screens, then the wireframes enable the users to provide the user interface layout to the end users. And also it provides the wireflow tools which visualize the flow of the wireframes as a flowcharts here. Wireflow animations can also enable the users to use the systems to the animated way. And prototype tools is also used to provide the first initial version of the software which will be used by the user. And another important feature of the visual paradigms is the customer experience designs here. So customers can experience the designs and they can use these designs for their experience as well. As previously we said that the wireframes are used by the customer for the experience purpose. Actually they are not full-fledged software, but they will be the dummy software where the visual paradigms provides the wireframes so that the customer can gain the experience here. And the customer journey map, that is CGM, which is used to help to understand the customer behavior, thoughts and feelings throughout the customer's journey, which helps to develop the business plan based on customers' values. So customer provides certain values, then this plan will be changed. So here you can see that if customer have a high satisfactions, so how then the project will look here. And there you can see that there are multiples sort of the feedbacks provided by the end user or the customers to the developing company. Another important feature is the code and database engineering. The visual provides has a strong components for the coding and as well as database development. So actually it gives you the designs of the code and database design as well. So it bridges the gap between the system design and which is the system design and the code here, and the code is the programming here. So you can convert that database and requirements to that particular codes. So code engineering tools includes code generation and reversals for 10 plus language. For example, C++ and Java are the important language here. Similarly, form sequence diagram from Java to Hibernate ORM, which is object relational model mapping, and is object relational mapping is a programming technique for converting data between relational databases and object-oriented programming language such as Java, C Sharp, etc. So means that you can convert the database as well as the requirements to the coding through using certain ORM, that is the object relational mapping. So we will in fact convert the designs into code using the visual paradigms that will be in fact performed. We will perform that in the upcoming lectures. So it generates reverse and re-engineering state machines code here. So you can create the state machine as well as the class diagrams or object diagram code. So similarly, REST APIs design and generation database engineering tools can also be performed through the export database, that is DTL from ERD or generate ERD from the database, that is DTL here. Here the DTL is in fact data definition language and is a language used to define data structures and modify data. For example, DTL commands can be used to add, remove or modify tables within the databases. And entity relationship diagrams is basically the design diagram of databases. So we can create ERD from the databases as well as data definition languages, and similarly vice versa is also performed here. Another important feature of the visual paradigms is the process map designer. So process map designers allow you to plan and design the business process with the help of the 2D process mapping designer. And matrix style process mapping editors over 40 different business and technical process templates are available here. You just provides the unlimited number of rows and columns. So you, for example, here you can type the process phases, and also you can type the sub phases. For example, what is the plannings, what activities will be performed in the planning, and then you can also edit the phase sub phases here when you will save. So then the process will be created for you, which is a configurable data formats having the txt list, bullets, etc. So you can type text list and bullets here, which is visualized with the charts here. This is very much important features that visual paradigms allow you to perform the team collaborations. Team collaboration means that Within the work projects, you can divide that one project into multiples peoples or multiple teamworks clients, which and they can work on that particular projects independently as well as in the parallel. So let your team work concurrently and collaboratively and smoothly perform on the same projects by using certain cloud-based repositories. When you are using the online version of the visual guidelines, then this project will be stored over the clouds, and you can work quite securely and remotely on that particular project. And this is another features powerful document builders. Mostly in the project we required to create the documentations. So visual paradigms helps you to create the powerful documentation and compose. You can also compose that documentations using the visual paradigms, which enable you to build your reports and just by dragging drawing here on the model elements onto the documents editor, and then you can easily create that particular powerful documentations. So thousands of element templates are already available here. So you just need to create your own and use that reports anywhere you want. Dear students, this is the end of the lectures. Here is the book reference for you. The book is Object-Oriented Technologies from Diagrams to Code with Visual Paradigms from for UML by Curtis H.K. Sangs. So you can download this book and you should study this book. Also, we have another web references from where you can just download and use install your visual paradigms, and also you can download the existing sort of the templates of the visual paradigms. And if you have any question, you can ask that question through the email. My email is m.kadim@redcast.edu.pk. I will wait for your question and will respond soon as you drop email to my ID. Thank you very much.